Dear students, a very warm welcome to all of you in today's social science class. This is Kiran Matharu, working as SST Mistress at Government Middle Smart School, Kasimpur Shina of District Mansa. Today, we will discuss a very important topic of civics, that is lesson number 26, Fundamental Rights, Directive Principles and Fundamental Duties. So, let's begin. Human development requires facilities. These facilities are provided by the society and these are known as rights. So, rights are the basic needs of human beings which are essential for the development and welfare of the society. So, these rights should be considered important by the society. Now, let's begin our first topic, that is fundamental rights. Firstly, we will discuss fundamental rights. Difference between rights and duties. Rights are the claims of the individual which are essential for the development of his or her personality and are recognized by society and the state. Duties. Duty is something that someone is expected to do. The obligations that accompany rights are in the form of duties. Introduction. Rights means those freedoms which are essential for personal good of the community. The rights guaranteed under the Constitution of India are fundamentals as they have been incorporated into the fundamental law of the land and are enforceable in a court of law. Fundamental rights are those basic conditions of social life without which a citizen cannot be at his best self, or those basic conditions which are very essential for the good life of a citizen. Definition of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are essential human rights that are offered to every citizen irrespective of caste, race, creed, place of birth, religion or gender. These are equal to freedoms and these rights are essential for personal good and the society at large. Dear students, there are many types of rights, out of which the most important are those fundamental rights which are important for the mental, moral, cultural and physical growth of a person. Fundamental rights are those which are supreme and included in the Constitution. The Indian Constitution has taken these fundamental rights from the American Constitution. Fundamental rights are given in the Indian Constitution from Article number 14 to 32. There are 6 fundamental rights have been given by the Constitution. Number 1, right to equality. Number 2, right to freedom. Number 3, right against exploitation. Number 4, right to freedom of religion. Number 5, cultural and educational rights. Number 6, right to constitutional remedies. One more fundamental right has been added in the list of fundamental rights, and that one is right to education. On December 2002, our Parliament passed 86th Amendment and Article 21A has been entered in the chapter of fundamental rights. Now, every child has got the right to get free and compulsory education between the age group of 6 to 14. To implement the right to education, an act was passed in 2009 by our Parliament to provide free and compulsory education for all children between the age group of 6 to 14. Right to property, an ordinary right. Till 1979, right to property was included in the list of fundamental rights, but through 42nd Amendment has been made an ordinary right, and for this purpose Article 300A has been included into the Constitution. Let's discuss the nature of fundamental rights. Enshrined in the Part 3rd of the Constitution and safeguarded by the state. Fundamental rights are equal for all. Rights are justiciable, Article 32. Fundamental rights are not absolute. They limit the authority of the central and state governments. They can be suspended during emergency. Parliament can amend fundamental rights. So, fundamental rights are defined as a basic human rights of all the citizens. The Constitution of India guaranteed elaborate fundamental rights to its citizens in Part 3 of the Constitution. So, it is very essential for an individual for his all-round development. Moving ahead on the next topic, human rights. What are human rights? These are those rights which tell us about the minimum basic right to lead a respectable life. Thus, all those rights which enable human beings to lead a respectable life are known as human rights. Let's define human rights. Human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, whatever our nationality, place of residence, sex, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, language or any other status. We are all equally entitled to our human rights without discrimination. These rights are all interrelated, interdependent and indivisible. These are the objectives of human rights: education, assembly, association, thought, movement, press, information, speech, religion. These are the objectives of human rights like right to life, freedom from torture, freedom from slavery, right to a fair trial, freedom of speech, freedom of thought, conscience and religion. Number 7, freedom of movement. And now we will discuss the relationship between fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Rights and duties are like two sides of a coin, absolutely inseparable. Whenever and whatever we have any rights, we must have corresponding duties, whether it be the home, the society or the country. In every sphere of life, we have rights and duties that go hand in hand. We have rights in the same measure as we have duties. The fundamental duties are a novel feature of the Indian Constitution. Through this diagram, you will see the relationship between rights and duties of citizen. Right to against exploitation, constitutional remedies, education, equality, property, freedom of religion, freedom of speech and expression. Now we will see duties: protect natural environment, abide by constitution, rich heritage, defend country, safeguard property and promote harmony. So we have seen that rights and duties are related to each other. They are two sides of the same coin. Government and society has laid various rights for the prosperity of citizens, so it also expects that the citizens should perform their duties towards it. If we do not fulfill our duties, then we don't have any right of any kind. All the fundamental rights included in the Indian Constitution also have duties along with in accordance with human rights. Let's discuss some points of difference between fundamental rights and duties. Fundamental rights. Fundamental rights applies to both citizens and foreigners. Fundamental duties. Fundamental duties apply only to citizens. Fundamental rights are justiciable in nature, that is, they can be taken to court of law if they are not followed. Fundamental duties are non-justiciable in nature, that is, they can't be taken to court of law if they are not followed. Fundamental rights are legal sanction and direct enforcement, but Parliament can suspend it if these are not warranted through proper legislation. Fundamental duties lack legal sanction and direct enforcement, but Parliament can enforce it if it wants via proper legislation. Fundamental rights have impact on the government. Fundamental duties have impact on the citizens. Rights are what we want others to do for us. The duties are those acts which we should perform for others. So, these are some points of difference between fundamental rights and duties. Now, we will discuss fundamental duties as human rights. First one is right to equality, that is included Article 14 to 18. The fundamental rights are the right to equality. According to this right, all the citizens are equal in the eyes of law. No discrimination is made on the basis of high or low, rich or poor, color, caste and creed. It is our fundamental duty not to discriminate between anybody, as even our law does not allow us. We should not believe in untouchability. We should not discriminate among the citizens on the basis of lower, higher, rich and poor, color, caste and creed. Next one is right to freedom. Article 19 to 22nd. Second fundamental right of a citizen is right to freedom. Through this right, we have various other rights like freedom of expression, thought, oration, to move around the country, etc. It also provides us the right to do any kind of job or business. This right also expects from us to respect others' right to freedom. Next one, right against exploitation. Article 23rd to 24th. The third right is the right against exploitation. Under this right, it prohibits trading of humans, forcing to work without salary, etc. We do not have any right to exploit any human being. We should not discriminate others on the basis of salary, working hours, child labor, or on the basis of caste, creed, or religion. Next is right to freedom of religion. Article 25th to 28th. One of the most important fundamental rights is the right to religion. This right allows us the freedom to follow or have faith, preach, and make religious place for religion of our choice. Thus, it is our duty to respect all religions equally and not to hurt the religious sentiments of others. Next one is cultural and educational rights. Article 29 to 30. This right is made to protect independence of any language or culture. According to this right, any good institute cannot discriminate in the admission on the basis of caste, creed, sex, color, or religion. Thus, it is also our duty to respect this law and do not discriminate in any manner. We should respect all languages, cultures, and religions. Government should also not discontinue in giving grant to such educational institutions. And the last one is right to constitutional remedies. Article 32. Fundamental rights reminds us of our duties. In this fundamental right, it is mentioned that we cannot deprive any citizen of his rights. If in case they are deprived of any of those rights, the citizens of the country are free to approach the judiciary. Let us discuss fundamental duties. Fundamental duties, Article 51A. These were added to the Constitution by the 42nd Amendment in 1976 upon the recommendations of the Swan Singh Committee. These duties set in Part 4th A of the Constitution of India. They are not legally enforceable. They are held by the Supreme Court to be obligatory for all citizens. Originally 10 in number, the fundamental duties were increased to 11 by the 86th Amendment in 2002. So, fundamental duties are defined as the moral obligations of all citizens to help promote a spirit of patriotism and to uphold the unity of India. Dear students, you can well understand from this diagram that there will be a balance between rights and duties. Our next topic is Directive Principles of State Policy. Definition: the directive principles of state policy are guidelines to the central and state governments of India to be kept in mind while framing laws and policies. These provisions contained in Part 4 of the Constitution of India. They are not enforceable by any court, but the principles laid down therein are considered fundamental in the governance of the country, making it the duty of the state to apply these principles in making laws to establish a just society in the country. There are some points to remember. Number 1. Fundamental rights are those rights which develop the physical, mental, and cultural abilities of humans. Number 2. Constitution of India has provided 6 fundamental rights. Number 3. Rights and duties are two faces of same coin. Number 4. To get some rights, we have to abide by some rules. Number 5. Citizens should not misuse their rights. Number 6. According to Constitution, every kind of discrimination has been abolished. Number 7. All are equal before Constitution. Number 8. India has adopted rights from the Constitution of America. There are some points to remember. Number 1. Fundamental rights are those rights which develop the physical, mental, and cultural abilities of humans. Number 2. Constitution of India has provided 6 fundamental rights. Number 3. Rights and duties are two faces of same coin. Number 4. To get some rights, we have to abide by some rules. Number 5. Citizens should not misuse their rights. Number 6. According to Constitution, every kind of discrimination has been abolished. Number 7. All are equal before Constitution. Number 8. India has adopted rights from the Constitution of America. That's all for today. I hope you all have really enjoyed today's lecture. Now, you have to revise and learn all the definitions of fundamental rights, duties, and human rights as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay home, stay safe, and keep learning.